Good evening and welcome to the Bushland Falcon Media Coaches Show, Week 10, heading into the final game of the season. Is it kind of surreal that it's already Week 10?
It is. It got here in a hurry, especially when you don't have that bye week till after you play all 10. It just gets here in a hurry, and we're looking forward to hopefully getting a win Friday night against a good team and then having our bye week.
Before we talk about Dalhart, just the implications of the game, it's going to be senior night. Let me give you a second just to kind of brag on your seniors a little bit, because you got a senior class that's played a lot of snaps. And talk to us a little bit about just all of them.
Every senior class means something to you, and they're all special. I think especially as a head coach, it's different. I don't know how to explain it really, but it's different. They just mean something different to you, and they all do great things. And I think the biggest thing is, like you said, from a football standpoint, they've all, a lot of those guys have played a lot of snaps for us, a lot of meaningful snaps, and they just, when those kids pour it out for you, all the effort and just everything they do in the off season, in the summer, and they just give you everything you got. To me, what ends up happening, and I hate this, we plan to not be finished till second, third week of December.
Yeah.
But eventually at some point it will end for everybody.
Yeah.
And for me, that's the hard part, is because you don't want it to end. That's what I told the guys last year too. I don't want the ride to end. You know what I mean? Just being around the guys and the camaraderie we have with the coaches and the players, and the locker room, and just the trips and everything. So we just got to take advantage of it while we can. And like I said, those seniors have meant a lot to us in our program, and have done a great job of just kind of carrying on the tradition of Bushland football.
And a lot of tradition. It's cool to see. We always talk about the things that so many of these athletes are accomplishing, but just the way they honor it. You hear DJ talk about the fact of when he broke the school record of just being able to honor Jared and Taylor. It's cool. They love being Falcons.
Yeah, you want those guys to know and understand, the history of our programs and what we do. That's why I think it's important. Every Friday night when we run out, and those little kids that are running out there with us, those third graders and fourth graders and whatever that are running out with us, I think that's important. It means something to them, and when it means something to them, they're going to know, and they're going to know these guys and their names, and they're going to remember them just like you and I did when we were younger. We can go back and tell you names of guys that were playing when we were junior high and things like that, and it just means something to you, and I think they've carried that torch and done a great job.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Friday night. Big win. You went on the road, and it felt like the most complete defensive performance you've seen. Obviously, the defense scored a couple touchdowns, but am I wrong to say that was probably the best the defense has looked so far?
Defense played great. Defense played really well. I feel like we've been getting better week to week as a team.
Yeah.
But when you break it down into offense, defense, special teams, I really think the defense has just been sharpening up and getting better, and finding the right places for guys as the year goes on, and especially about the last month, I feel like we've gotten a lot better, and we're playing fast. I think we're playing kind of what we expected, and we're playing fast out there, and with a clear mind. And I think Friday night was just where we want to keep trying to go as far as stopping the run always. That was a big, good offensive line that we saw Friday night. Had the one kid that's committed to Tech, and multiple other kids that are really good, big offensive linemen, two good running backs that can run, that are good sized kids. And I thought our forcing unit did a great job all night of preventing the big play, causing penetration, getting there and tackling those guys with some authority. So, really happy with how the defense played.
Second week in a row, a defensive player got our local Legend Outfitter Player of the Game. It feels like that's really, coming along to match the offensive output that we've had all year.
Yeah.
Was the locker room, did it feel, for some of those guys, did it feel a little more rewarding knowing how it happened last year?
Yeah, we tried not to talk about it too much. I did post some signs throughout the locker rooms that had the score from last year. But other than that, I didn't address it a whole lot. I didn't have to say much.
No, they knew.
First of all, it's a respect thing because we know what kind of program they have.
Yeah.
And you have to respect that, you know. So that's part of a rivalry is respecting, you know, your opponent and knowing we know what they're about. We know that they were good last year. We know that they're going to be, you know, good every year. So, you know, respecting those guys and then but wanting to beat them, you know, that's part of it. You know, we want to beat those guys. And we don't like them. When I say we don't like them, that's not on a personal level. That's on
absolutely.
the fact that they don't like us. They want to beat us. You know, we want to beat those guys. So, like I said, we didn't talk too much about it other than, we did want to prove ourselves in our program and make sure that we played the right way and played hard. You know, we did feel like last year we didn't put our best foot forward maybe, and we competed well, you know, kept fighting last year. We just didn't play well the first half, and this year, we didn't play great offensively, but that's what you want to hang your hat on is defensively, because when you're going to have those games where one side maybe doesn't play as good as they normally do, and that's why it's a team game, and you got to be able to. If the offense isn't executing real well, you got to lean on your defense and special teams, and vice versa, and that's what was the great thing about Friday night is. We kind of struggled a little bit in offense, and the defense just kept getting stops, getting turnovers, scoring touchdowns. And, if we could hang our hat on anything, it'd definitely be defense.
How cool is it as a coach? You see these young guys putting in the work, and then you see guys like Tag Thrash and Aiden Hall get their first varsity touchdowns. It's got to be rewarding just to see that, knowing the work they put in.
Yeah, I mean, all those guys practice. Any time that you can see anybody do something out there that's kind of rewarding for the work you put in, whether it's a starter, whether it's a kid on the JV or the 7th grade B team, it puts a smile on your face as a coach because you like to see those kids work, understand the meaning of work and doing things right, and then getting rewarded for it, and on the biggest stage. And it was great to see, Tag with that fumble recovery and scoop right to his arms and take off. And then, Aiden's was a great pick, but did a really good job on the return of kind of wiggling around in there. And, he's a lot faster than what you think, Aiden, and just quick. And he did a great job of, having good vision and getting to the end zone.
So now we turn our eyes to Dalhart, obviously for a district championship, which this may be the best. I was talking to someone from Dalhart the other day. I think 2010 they were 8-0. 2012 they were 7-1. You probably remember a few of those teams because you spent some time in Dalhart. This one's going to be big, for both teams, obviously for the district championship and the implications there. But how big of it? Because we've been on the other side. We've been there where it came down to one game and we had to go win it on the road. What do you expect to see from them Friday night? Because obviously they're another team that's going to be big, physical, big, strong quarterback. Do you think they take the ball? I guess my question is, I fully expect them to try to do what they did to Shallow Water in the fourth quarter and take the air out of the ball and hold on to it for a while.
Well, I think you have to do what you're good at, and they've played with some tempo this year. We've got some films on them, and at times they've played fast with some tempo. I don't think I know the plan for sure, or I don't think Joey would tell me.
No, not at all. But
and we're pretty good friends, but I don't think he would tell me the plan for sure. But
I guess what's the expectation? What do you expect to see out of Dalhart Friday night?
Physical team. They're big up front. Again, they matched up well with Shallow Water because they're big up front, have some big kids. Obviously, quarterback. Kyler's a great player and a big, strong, physical kid, a competitor that, we're going to have to be ready for. We know when you get somebody like that, it's just the will and determination to get, I'm going to get 3 yards no matter what.
Yeah.
It's tough, so we're going to have to play well up front. We're going to have to tackle well. We're going to have to try to get him down, really quick, before he falls for another 2 or 3 yards. So, with that being said, they have some skill kids too. They've done some things in the passing game. Coach Kitchens is a really good offensive coordinator who creates a lot of, good concepts for his kids to get them in space, and they're just doing a great job this year. Good coaches and their players, and it's just one of those things where they're rolling. They're confident. I think they're real confident in what they're doing, And like I said, they're 7-1 coming off a big win against Shallow Water. So they're all, and that's what we told our kids all year long. They're all big, and you have to treat each game like the same, like that, or you have one of those setbacks. And I think that's one thing we've done a good job of this year, especially in district, is after the Canadian game of kind of understand if you don't, take each game for what it's worth that week and respect it, then you have a setback possibly. And I think that's, what we've got to do. It's for us, it's step 4. We know the ramifications. We know that if we win it, we're the undefeated district champions. We control all that, and that's what you want to get to. If you can get to the last game of the season, you control everything. You don't have to worry about so-and-so beating and tying and point system and all that. We want to control our own destiny, and we have all control of that this week.
And one of the things we talked about, I think it was 2 weeks ago, to really like to see is maybe a few less penalties on the D-line and a little more. I don't feel like we saw any on Friday night. Are you starting to see some of those things that you're hoping from week to week? Obviously, you go in setting some things you'd like. Are you feeling like we're growing into the areas that you really felt like we needed to, maybe in week 4, 5, 6?
I hope so. That's the whole point of what we're trying to do is address those areas. And, that's the whole thing about coaching in general and just sports is there's always something to fix. There's always something to fix. As soon as you feel like you've perfected everything as a coach or a player, you're going to get snake bit. And we just, like I said, the pre-snap penalties, I think we did a lot better job at that Friday night. But then, you sit there, turn around, we hadn't turned the ball over in 3 consecutive games prior to Friday night, and we turned it over 3 times. So there again, we got stuff to work on as coaches. We're things, points of emphasis. But I do think we're growing and maturing and getting better. Sometimes turnovers can be real iffy and weird sometimes. Sometimes that ball, just the way it bounces and the way a weird plays happen. Sometimes turnovers you just can't control. Some of them you can. Putting the ball in the wrong arm when it should be in this arm, or carrying the ball low, or whatever it may be. Then there's other times like on Cade's where, I don't know that was even in the first series where, his what I call the fumble. He took enough steps after catching it, but I don't think he ever possessed the ball. He was kind of juggling it around.
We had the benefit of replay in the booth, and it never looked like he had the catch.
But, those are the kind of talking about that, throughout the course of the season, something weird may happen like that, and you don't control it a whole lot. So we just, keep working on those things and trying to address the details. From watching film on Saturdays, we ball security and keep harping on pre-snap penalties and those things like that. I thought we tackled better. I thought we got guys to the ball, played with a lot of passion. Defense, like I said, defense really just stole the show. They just played so good.
What was it, 169 total yards? Somewhere in there?
Something like that, yeah.
That's impressive, especially with a line that big. So, obviously last week, what are some? Do you ever get time to stop and think? Okay, we're in week 10. What the season means? Like, have you? Because every year is different, and you kind of walk away with a different feeling. How do you feel about this one now, heading into the last week? Because there's emotions of senior night and your senior class and all those guys, especially these guys, because they've been with you for 4 years.
Yeah, so they were freshmen. My first year taking this job, but even going back farther, you had them in 2012, and then of course with Colton being a junior, I've known a lot of these guys, seeing them since elementary school, and having them in all this group of guys in 5th grade PE when I was doing that over there. 6th grade pre-athletics, that was the first year we started pre-athletics over there, and kind of running those guys through our program. And they're just good kids. They're good kids with good families, and just do things the right way. And it's you try not to think about that stuff, but it makes you appreciative of those kids and what they do and the sacrifices they make. And just like last year, you just you don't want to see them go. There's bigger, better things for them on down the road. But that's we talk about in the locker room that this group, this team, it's a one-time deal. It'll never be again. Last year's team is slightly different than this year's. This year's will be slightly different than next year's. You'll never have that same group of guys and that bond and that chemistry in that locker room ever. And, there's just something to that. I think that's one of the cool things about sports is that, you have those moments like that, and you have those memories of, this was our team, that, so how are we what legacy are we still gonna leave, for the 2023, Bushland Falcon football team?
Well, the legacy so far has been pretty solid.
Yeah.
And so, congrats on another incredible win. Before we get out of here, I know you made the trip down to Lubbock today for girls cross country. Brag on your cross country coach for a minute and just the job they did to make regionals.
Well, yeah, brag on the coaches and the kids, because it's not an easy sport, because they're up there, you're running distance all summer. You come up 2-a-days, you're running early in the morning, you're running before school, you're running after school in the heat. It's not an easy sport by any means, because you're just running, and it takes a special person to do that, and you're running a long ways, and you're just pounding your feet, putting the miles on. And they went to regionals. The girls went to regionals, and I think they got 14th, kind of about where they were projected to kind of finish. We had one individual that she got, Emma Galladay. She just missed the chance to go to state. I think she was 4 or 5 spots out. But it's neat to go. It's neat to go watch that regional, because there's so many kids running at one time, and so many good runners, and we're just proud of our kids and our coaches for just the dedication and the hard work they put into that.
Yeah, that is a sport and it's because it's almost hard to even be a fan of, because they literally run 2 miles or 3 miles if they're the guys. So you have to catch them at certain points on the track, and maybe they don't get celebrated quite as much as they should, because I don't think I could do it. And so
there's a reason I didn't do it. I'm not tough enough.
Well, Coach, thanks for taking the time. Again, I think we'll all take next week off, because my understanding Monday night will be a volleyball playoff game.
Yes.
And so with the bye week, we'll take next week off and skip it. Give everybody a chance to go cheer on the Lady Falcons as they head on to volleyball. But we'll be back right after this break with our local legend outfitter play of the game, Easton Fuentes.
Procrete Construction is a regional concrete place and finish company designed from the ground up to give you solid professional service. Based in Amarillo, Procrete serves residential, commercial, and industrial construction industries. High standards of professionalism and quality are our benchmarks. We know your construction project requires a company that is equipped with the tools, knowledge, and experience to complete the work as promised, with a focus on details. Call 806-318-3820 or go online to learn more about Procrete Construction at procretenow.com.
Adobe Wall Stoneworks, Justin Howe here. Listen, I can't believe it, but this year we're going to celebrate our 20th anniversary. The Texas Panhandle has been such a support for our little business, and we're so thankful. Amy and I have been dreaming about this design center for years. We want you to come check it out on Hillside. Go check out our website, adobewallstoneworks.com. Just like you go make a dinner reservation, you can click and make a reservation for a private design consultation in our indoor showroom right here on Hillside. Come check it out, Adobe Wall Stoneworks.
Melanie and Jeremy Scott with Texas Plains Real Estate Group at Keller Williams Realty support our Bushland Falcons on and off the field. As residents of the community, our school and students' success are important to us. A successful school drives home values and a strong sense of community, along with a desire to live in Bushland. To help further the community support, we have created a Bushland-only e-directory, which can be found at bushlandhomesandliving.com. Please visit our site and add your business listing for free.
New Vision Exterior Solutions is a proud sponsor of our Bushland Falcons. At New Vision Exterior Solutions, they take pride in and are committed to their work. With an increasing number of successful projects under their belt, they can proudly say they are one of the most trusted seamless gutter installation companies in Amarillo, performing both residential and light commercial work. New Vision Exterior Solutions can handle all of your gutter needs, including removal and installation, hail damage, wind damage, and leak cards. New Vision can also stain new and old fences and make those old fences look new. So give Brock Hall a call at 806-517-0533 and let New Vision Exterior Solutions provide a free estimate.
Whether you need a building to grow your business or you simply need more space for a backyard workshop, look no further than Tightwire Construction. Kurt and his team will get you the most out of your metal building and take pride in exceeding your needs with great customer service. To talk about your next project, give Kurt a call at 806-683-6842 or visit tightwireconstruction.com. And as always, go Falcons!
The Bushland Falcons are a symbol of excellence in all athletics. So when the Falcons take the field, there is no room for error. Vanessa McDonald with Lions Realty feels the same way about her job. As a real estate professional with over 20 years of experience, Vanessa knows there's no room for error when it comes to your real estate goals. Vanessa's real estate experience combined with a forward-thinking company behind her makes for a winning team for her clients. Give Vanessa a call for a free home analysis at 806-336-7885.
AA&A Windshield and Glass is a proud sponsor of the Bushland Falcons. We are your one-stop shop and we'll get it done right. We are a family-owned and operated business for over 35 years, and we specialize in windshield replacement installation and rock chip repair. We offer scheduled appointments in our shop, or we'll come to you with our mobile service. Call us today at 806-353-9119 or fill out our contact form at aawindshieldglass.com to get started. See clearly with AA&A Windshield and Glass.
No one said living here was simple. They just said it was worth it. This land wasn't easy to settle. More than 30 years in business will teach you that. Her elements are fierce and forceful. Amarillo can take anything thrown her way. Your body shop should too. Loki's Body Shop, built for Amarillo.
All right, we're back here on the Week 10 edition of the Bushland Falcon Coaches Show with our local legend player of the game, Easton Fuentes. Easton, thanks for joining us, man.
Yep, it's good, great to be here.
So, let me ask, just right out of the gate, we talked off air, biggest O-line you'd faced this year. Was there a little, knowing what happened last year, was there a little extra intensity behind that one?
For sure. Last year's game was very dramatic for how it went down. And a lot of us had a really massive chip on our shoulder. A lot of that, too. Coach Mayfield.
Oh, yeah.
And it was really good to see him at the game last Friday because he missed the game.
Yeah, last year.
And that was the first game he missed in 34 years.
Yeah.
So I thought we had a lot of reasons to play for that game.
Absolutely. You know, it's crazy to think, before the Shallow Water game last year, there had never been a varsity football game that Coach Mayfield hadn't coached in Bushland. And so, speaking of that, you had him for 3 years, and you also had him in track. Talk to me for a minute about Coach Mayfield and what he meant to you, because I know he meant a lot to a lot of y'all.
He meant a lot to me in the aspect of he knew how I worked, like as far as my mental aspects, and like I was just taught. He just taught me one thing, and that was to go. And I mean that's why he loved me in track and moved me up in football, and a lot of that too is just the culture that he built in early when the school first started, and he kept that tone for everybody for a very long time. So.
Hey, turn your mic this way. That way they can hear you.
Turn this. Oh, sorry.
We just want to make sure they get what. So here we are, a week away from the last regular season game you're going to have. I know. You and your dad talk a lot about your guaranteed 10 every season. What has this year meant for you as a player and with this team?
I think one thing my dad has been telling me is last play, and like treat every play as your last play, because but Bushland's taking a new era with the new school being built and stuff, and I feel like we need to keep that tradition going, like through the old high school and into the new one by treating every play like it's your last play. So
it's a pretty incredible mindset. Now let me ask this, because you dominate on defense, but you really run the ball with some force as well. What do you prefer, offense, defense?
Honestly, it depends on the game for me. Like if we're running, like if I'm getting gassed on defense, if I'm playing the whole game and I have to go play both ways on offense, I have to kind of flip a switch there, like kind of suck it up. But honestly, to me, I just like playing football. I don't care which side of the ball I play on. So
now, and you have an older brother that's still playing in college. How big was that, having him to be able to kind of follow around and chase coming up?
Oh, that was very big for me because I feel like he had a lot of resilience when he was on the field. I mean, it was great to watch him and how hard they played. And about, I don't know if you remember that 2019 team. I feel when we were 8th graders, that team right there motivated a lot of us younger guys. I mean, that's all we wanted to be like when we were in middle school. And I feel like my brother and them, they carried that on his senior year and our freshman year. Yeah. And that's all we wanted to be like was them and how hard they played and the standard that they set. So
that's awesome. Now, how fun is it playing next to a guy like Charlie Pitt?
Charlie, same thing. You just should play resilience. That's all he has. Charlie never shows weakness. That's my favorite part about Charlie. He'll never show you a sign of weakness, and he'll just give it your all every play, whether he's bright red from running halfway across the field but it's like Dawson said last week. He's like, Cannon. We have a package, that hook'em package where Cannon could play D-line. I was talking to Dawson. I was like, man, that's a problem there because like Cannon's Charlie's back up on offense, and they're both playing defense. And Dawson kind of summed up as like, it don't matter if it's, it don't matter. Charlie doesn't think about it when he's tired. He'll play both ways either way, and so I feel like that pretty much sums up Charlie Pitt.
That does sum up Charlie Pitt, which is what makes it so hard for these quarterbacks when both of you chase them all game and they run for their lives. It's fun to get the call from this side. So now some non-football questions for you. We do 4 questions every week just to kind of an opportunity for people to get to know you. What's Easton's favorite movie?
I'll have to go with Grown Ups.
That
movie's
a comedy guy.
Yeah, I grew up on that movie.
So you got a Will Ferrell kind of sense of humor there.
Adam Sandler.
And then what's Easton's favorite candy? If you're taking a candy into a movie, what are you taking?
Into a movie, I'll have to say like those. I mean, I like Nerds, but Nerds has come out with those little gummy
clusters?
Ones. Yeah, the clusters. Those have been really good
Ryder
lately.
Grace and you, we can't even walk in this Toot and Totem without walking out with a bag of gummy Nerd clusters. My gosh, what's there? I have them on my phone. I might have to bust them out. When you're not playing ball, when you're not running track or playing football, what's a hobby? What's something Easton likes to do? Where will we find Easton when you're not playing ball?
When I'm not playing ball, probably playing video games or during the summertime mowing. But most of the time I'm just in my room chilling. So
playing video games. I can attest to that because you and Parker, it may be 1 in the morning. He's screaming. I'm like, hey, can you not wake Mom up? This could be really bad. And if Easton could have if a song could play every time you walk in the room, what would Easton's walkout song be?
Probably "Shower" by Becky G. So
Shower. I don't even think I know that song. Now I'm gonna have to look it up.
Yeah,
the break.
It's a pretty good song. So.
So now that I got to give you props because you're one of the first that actually had their answer like ready to go, which is funny because there's some baseball guys that have come in before you, and even though they have a walk-up song, they couldn't give me props for that. Now, one last question. As you head into Friday night, obviously a chance to put the Falcons back in the district champion. I mean, I know that y'all took that personal last year, but that's Coach Reynolds talks a lot about what will your legacy be, and I know that's the first step in that legacy is we're going to be district champs. What will it mean to lift that gold ball Friday night?
It will mean a lot to attest to the upset that Showwater had on us last year, and I feel like it'll be great for Coach Reynolds and the program itself to restart that district tradition. So, because in 2019 and 2021 we had 3 straight district champs, and I feel like it'll be great for the Bushland Falcons to start back up that district champ tradition. So
I like it. Well, Easton, it's always a pleasure to get to call the games because your motor never stops. If you're on the field, you're giving it your all, which is awfully fun. Thanks for taking the time to join us.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you coming out. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back, and I'll have my interview with Coach Copley as we get ready to preview. You ever thought about playing boys basketball?
Nope.
Not a basketball player.
Nope.
So we'll be back with Coach Copley right after this break.
Plumbing problems, large or small, they can fix them all. Whether it's residential, commercial, new construction, or remodel and repair, more people call Jasper's Plumbing for sewer, water, and gas repair than any other company in our area, and you should too. Jasper's is a third-generation plumbing company proudly serving Falcon Nation.
Hope Choice is a faith-based, pro-life organization that assists women facing an unplanned pregnancy by providing free pregnancy tests, sonograms, educational classes, and baby supplies. Hope Choice is also helping young people and parents by taking a stand against society's influences that are threatening today's families. By offering free mentoring programs to young people ages 8 to 18, retreats, and character building presentations for students in the schools, Hope Choice is changing culture one heart at a time. Learn more about the mentoring programs, events, how to volunteer, or become a financial partner by visiting hopechoice.com. That's hopechoice.com.
The Bushland Falcons are a symbol of excellence in all athletics. So when the Falcons take the football field, there is no room for error. Vanessa McDonald with Lyons Realty feels the same way about her job. As a real estate professional with almost 20 years of experience, Vanessa knows there's no room for error when it comes to your real estate goals. Fortunately, Vanessa's real estate experience, understanding of clients' needs, forward-thinking company behind her, and her love for the Bushland community all combine to form a winning team for her clients. So give Vanessa a call today for a free market analysis on your home at 806-336-7885. Once again, that's 806-336-7885. And as always, go Falcons.
All right, welcome back from break, and here we sit now. Last week we got to talk to Coach Allen, and it was the start of girls basketball season, and for some reason in the state of Texas, y'all start a week apart. And so here we are.
A week later.
Here we are, a few days from basketball practice and a few days from your second year. You feel like you've kind of settled in, Coach?
For sure. I think it'll be more comfortable this year, just for me and for all the guys too. You know, getting a year under your belt, and you know these guys have been around for a year and kind of know what we expect more. But it obviously helped last year having, you know, you did have a big senior class, but you know only for a year it's tough on them. So we're hoping to build on last year and continue the success and tradition of Bushland basketball.
Now, you grew up in a coaching family, and so new places, new surroundings. Was it a little, having grown up in that type of environment, how easy, I don't want to say easy, how much easier was the transition knowing you've done it before?
Yes, and that's the thing, we grew up and moved 4 or 5 times, so I had become accustomed to it, and it does help you get more comfortable quicker and, able to adjust on the fly. I think that definitely helped, moving, 3 or 4 times growing up from junior high into high school.
Now, you mentioned you did have a lot of seniors graduate. Tate Butcher, some guys that have been in the program a long time. Before we get to this year, talk a little bit about just the foundation that they helped you kind of maybe start with your vision of where the program's going to go.
Yeah, for sure. They were 3-time district champions their last 3 years. They'll be hard to replace. It's a lot of minutes, a lot of points that are not coming back. But that's the challenge to these new guys is to just pick up where we left off and continue with those guys started.
Now, Ryder Grace got to take some of the seniors' pictures, and I text you, I'm like, man, there's some tall dudes out here. You've got some height this year. Talk a little bit about some of that that's coming in to the program, maybe some faces we haven't seen before.
Yeah, size will definitely be one of our advantages, so that'll be, what us coaches have to figure out how to, best use that to our advantage and, find ways to use that size, whether it's, running zone or finding ways to use our length and down low inside be a great rebounding team and feed the post and hopefully get easy baskets. You got Brody Baker, who's about 6'6", had to play JV last year after he moved in. We got Manning Barton's about 6'6" too, good jumper, best vertical on the team, and you got guys. Noah Krause has good size as well. We'll have a freshman, Kate Snyder, about 6'4", so we're hoping to use that size, and we'll also have some quick guards as well.
Now, Cade, he's got a little built-in advantage. He's got a coach for a brother, and so he's been in the gym an awful lot. Obviously, coming back, we saw him go down in football. You'll expect to have him for a full year?
Yes, should be having him back, and our goal is just after Thanksgiving and start working them back in and go from there.
But so a lot of new faces, but you do have some returning guys.
Yes.
You got Tag, Tripp, Zach Zundel, Noah got some good minutes last year. Talk about some of those guys and just the evolution of them now stepping into that leadership role.
Yeah, I thought last year, especially the last few games, those guys really stepped up and made strides. Tag and Tripp, both hit some big shots and played some big minutes for us. Zach probably started half the season for us. And Noah, he can come in and make some shots. And another guy that had a really good summer too, he was kind of up and down last year, is Hayden Branscombe. Had a really good summer. Those guys I feel like grew up a lot this summer, and that's why we play, is to get that experience, so we're not our first game is not that doesn't feel like our first game, because we do have we'll be old but inexperienced.
Yeah. Now, talk a little bit about summer, because sometimes we think, basketball starts after football season. But you get a full summer camp. What does some of that look like, just from both a coaching standpoint and from a student standpoint or an athlete standpoint?
Yeah, it's so big nowadays with summer workouts, and if you don't do anything, you're gonna get left behind. I think we played 18 to 20 games this summer. We had a summer league at River Road, playing 2 games a night. And we went to Eastern New Mexico team camp and went 8-1 there, lost to Canyon in the championship, and unfortunately that was the game that Tripp went down, that very last game. But we had a really good summer, and it's good for us coaches to see some of those guys coming up, play at this level, and you'll get a look at them, at this level, and these guys hadn't played with each other a lot coming up, and they've never been the go-to guys. We're losing, guys like Cole, Grant, Brecken, Tate, that have always been the guys. These guys have been their role players. Yeah. So now their roles change into the go-to guys, which is, what's good about summer.
One of the unique things we talked about last year of being in Bushland is football season tends to go at least to Thanksgiving, and hopefully, if it goes the way we want it to go, it's mid-December. Yeah. What are some of those challenges as a basketball coach who's got to share those guys till the end of balancing those come Wednesday? Because obviously practice is going to start, and this year you have a few less football players, I think.
Yes.
But what is that balance like to be able to get into your season, start working on all your offense and defense, but yet know you've still got 3 or 4 guys that are key players?
You still have to balance it. I don't want to cheat these guys that are in here in the gym every day. Yeah. So we need to get started, but really we haven't been able to go 5-on-5 yet all year, which is hard. But Wednesday I'll have a few freshmen come up, and then that gives us 9, so I'll practice with them so we can go 5-on-5 finally. But it's good to get a head start with them, to get their feet wet, and then the guys we have coming, they make the transition very well, just like they did last year, and we'll jump right in and hit the ground whenever that is. Hopefully, like you said, mid-December, or even after Christmas is fine with me.
So let's talk sub-varsity for a minute. We've got a lot of kids that are moving in. Obviously, class sizes are growing. Have you got a chance to look at your JV and freshmen yet?
JV will be very similar to last year. With a couple juniors we have, like I said, we have 8 seniors, so there really weren't a lot of spots open.
That makes sense.
From last year. You have with Tag and Tripp and those guys that were on, and then you had 8 seniors. That's 10 already right there. So, but I mean, all the playing time will be earned, and just because you start on JV, all those guys want to be on varsity too. So I think we should have some good competition, and with those younger guys that are also trying to earn a spot, because just because you're a senior doesn't mean you get to play.
It's the one beautiful thing about basketball. It's one ball, and you got to earn it every day.
Exactly.
So, obviously, 3 years of district championships. That's kind of the bar now in Bushland for basketball, isn't it?
For sure. I mean, losing, whatever all we did last year, the expectations don't change. Goal number 1 is to win a district championship. Every year, no matter what.
Well, have you got to be out at football practice much, or is it now just back to the gym?
No, I've been out there. I haven't missed practice yet.
No.
I haven't.
And Wednesday, you're planning a wedding right now? I mean, life's a little busy right now.
Yeah, it's all good, though. I wouldn't have it any other way. But, no, I'm out there every day. With pretty much when the freshmen come in, I'll kind of come in with them. But it's good. I want to be out there and be around my guys, too, and support them.
So, and we say that. Let's talk a little bit just for those that may be new to not only basketball, but new to Coach Copley. You got engaged this past year. So when's the wedding day?
It's going to be March 15th, spring break right after basketball. So the week after the state tournament. So hopefully we're playing all the way up to that.
So Shay is obviously very understanding of being the coach's schedule. And then brother moved from West Plains to Canadian.
Yes, he's a Canadian now, so he'll be in the district.
And his dad still at Stinnett?
Yes, he is.
Man, Copley's kind of taking over West Texas here.
Yeah, so it'll be I get to play Cameron. He'll be helping him in basketball too, so we'll get to play them twice in district. They're gonna be good too.
Oh, Canadian's a lot like Bushland. They're kids. They put in the work. They put in the time, and they're gonna compete in everything that they do. And so any final thoughts on the upcoming season that you can share before we cut you loose?
Not really. Just we're excited. It's a little nervous with some unknowns, but I think once we find our stride and start hitting it and getting to district, expectations will be to win every district game and find a way to win some playoff games and see what happens.
Well, Coach, thanks for taking the time. I know your schedule's busy with everything going on. Love getting to sit down and just talk about our student athletes. Maybe we can sit down and do it again before district once you got a few games under your belt there. So we'll be back after this quick break with Chris's Big Close.
Keep that one up.
All right, welcome back to our Chris's Big Close section of the Week 10 Coaches Show. You weren't here. I meant to text you today. Girls volleyball will be playing on Monday night this coming week, so we're going to take a week off so everybody can go cheer on the Falcons. Location, I think I know the location, but I'll wait till
TBD till it's official.
Yes, till it's official. But the game will be on Monday night. So final home game tomorrow night for Bushland Lady Falcon volleyball. So if you're in the area, make sure to come out to the Nest. It's going to be senior night, honoring our seniors. And then Friday night will be senior night again. So celebrating a lot of seniors this week. So first thoughts coming out of Friday night and the big win over Shallow Water.
We went into that game, obviously circled that game for a year now, and I never had a doubt. We talked about this on the way home. I never felt, even though at times it was close, there could have been some big moments in there, but it was one of those that I really never felt like that game was ever going to be close. I felt we came out, we didn't, but we were slow. I thought we were sloppy in some ways, right?
Yeah.
We didn't play great, but where our offense may have sputtered a little bit, boy, our defense sure picked it up, and that was awesome to see that defense just really shut down Shallow Water. I do think Shallow Water is not the Shallow Water we've seen in the past. They've got some talented kids on that team, there's no doubt.
Oh,
and our defense made some great plays, so that's a good side that we haven't seen this year, where really the defense really came over and they set the tone for that game.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there was a moment where they had a long play that would have made it, I think, 14-10. It got called back for holding. And that was the only moment you really felt like, oh, Shallow Water might do something. Because I think the rest of the night, Coach was telling me 167 total yards of offense is what Shallow Water ended with, which there's a lot of talent over there. Don't let the final score fool you.
Oh, for
They
sure.
have a D1 offensive lineman in Cason Long, and he had two big old boys. There was I don't know if I showed you that picture
That picture
of
was
AJ
good.
Marquez and big number 55, and the size differential was incredible, but yet it felt like our D line played their best game. Two things that I know you loved. We didn't jump off sides Friday night.
Not a single time. And they tried. I assure you, they tried multiple times to get us. And we stuttered a couple times, but we did not. So that was great.
And that's been one of your things when we
That
talked
stuff
about.
drives me crazy.
And then, but they lived in the backfield, which
did.
was a little different which was a big turning point from last year, because though the one piece that Shallow Water was missing was that big old center they had last year, but that line was still massive. And and I think it's a good omen heading into the playoffs that you began to see Easton and Charlie in a game against probably the most talented offensive lineman they faced all year. They dominated it in the trenches.
Yeah, and I think that's another year of, maturing in size for those two versus last year too. That makes a difference, right? But I know they had it circled going, that will not happen again.
No doubt.
And if there was any doubt whatsoever, That's now put to rest with that win. It's like I said, great defensive performance. Not to take away from the offense because we capitalized, but our defense gave the ball to that offense in some great positions.
And defense scored 2 touchdowns, which, in a 35-3 game, you kind of feel like if I'd have told you the defense scored 14 of those points, you probably would have been like, really? Like, it's a little – I mean, this was that game where our defense really matched our offense, but maybe the offense needed the help because Shallow Water, I mean, that props to them. They played lights out on defense as well. I mean, they hit our guys. They created – we hadn't I didn't realize this. We hadn't turned over the ball in 3 straight games heading into Shallow Water.
Yeah, and they definitely took advantage of that at times too, and they hit hard. We talked about it during the game multiple times, man. They were hitting, and DJ took more hits than I've seen him take all year. Yeah. And he took some hard hits during that game. That one time when he got kind of hit from 2 different sides, that was a shot.
Yeah, and he just picked himself up and kept going. He's a
little slower that time.
Yeah, it may have taken a second, but I think the thing that impresses me so much about DJ is he'll never stay down. Like it's almost like in his mind he has to beat the defender to his feet to let him know he's not winning. And
his poise in the pocket taking those hits, because the reason he took those hits, he stayed in that pocket.
Oh yeah.
And there was once, and we talked about it at the time, where I really felt the pocket was collapsing. But our vantage point is different than his vantage point, and he moved slightly up, and he was back free again. And I'm like, that's great pocket presence by DJ to know, I trust my guy enough. I know where he's going to push him, so I'm just going to make one little move in, and I can stay here a little bit longer.
Yeah. And so now we head into Dalhart. District championship on the line. Dalhart's 7-1 for the first time since 2012. So obviously excitement brewing down the road in Dalhart. And the reality is, I was talking to somebody about this, maybe it was at church yesterday, was that for us, Bushland's like a playoff game for everybody in our district. They want to hang their hat on being able to say, we beat Bushland. Because it doesn't happen often, I mean, in district.
Yeah.
And so Dalhart is coming in, and this will be, I almost think this may be bigger for them than, that first round playoff game, because they want this win. And so what are some things, knowing just how big and how they can take the air out of the ball, what are some things you look at Dalhart and think, we expect to see that on Friday night?
Their quarterback is dynamic.
Yeah.
And so the way I see it, as he goes, that's how this game goes. Yeah. If our defense gets a hold of him and they shut him down and he's going to make a few plays.
No doubt.
You're not going to stop that. But if our defense sets that tone like they did last week, I think this game's a runaway, potentially. I really do. I think, but again, if he starts making big plays, that team's going to go how he goes, without a doubt. And I think they can stop us on offense? No. The question is, are we going to be able to hold him in containment enough to set that tone on defense like we did last week as well?
Yeah. I think one of the most impressive things about the Shallow Water game is how early and often we forced them to punt.
Yes.
And got them off the field. They never really found a rhythm offensively, and a lot of that's a credit to our defense. And I'm with you. I think if you let Dalhart hang around and find some momentum, and if they're in it late, you start worrying about Dalhart, because they're that scrappy team that they're going to believe more and more. But if our defense can come out and get Kyler off the field a couple times early, Bill, I think there's still that mindset, because as much as football is physical, it's also mental. And if they look up and it's 14-0 and Bushland has the ball, they can't help but think, here we go again, because they've been there. Where I mean, in Dalhart last year, we put it on them early and stayed on top of them, and they kind of got all the frustration from the Shallow Water game.
Yeah, and even for us, and last week I said my prediction was we were going to come out strong, but I thought it might, even us talking on the way over, I said maybe 3 touchdowns or so, because I felt they were going to be scrappy, but I really wanted us to come out strong. We didn't do that, right? We came out, we sputtered quite a bit. I loved what we did on offense, so not to go back to the game again, but what we did on offense is we said, let's find something that's going to work. Fuentes, come in, and we just need to, move the rock a little bit. We need to get some reps underneath us. We need to get some first downs underneath us. We need to get a little confidence back, a little, swag in your step a little bit. And we did. And I love that. So what I see happening this week is, if we sputter, I don't see that happening because I don't think Dalhart's defense is as strong.
I agree.
But if we stutter, I think we now know what a formula is for us. Okay, let's chill out for a minute. Let's get some success under our belt, and then let's get rolling again. And that's exactly what you saw happen last week. But I do think this is a really strong team. If we keep Kyler in check, we're going to be fine.
I agree.
And I think when we come to the end, I mean, if you look at it, somebody posted this earlier, Bushland's offense is averaging 46 points a game on offense. Since Canadian, the defense is allowing 12 points on average.
Yeah.
Whew.
That's
rough right there.
And it's gotten better each week now. And just constantly improving.
I mean, you shut Shallow Water to 3 points, no touchdown.
Yeah.
I don't care where you think Shallow Water is right now. Shallow Water's always got athletes.
No doubt.
You just shut them to 3 points. That's pretty impressive.
You talk about the offense last Friday. I think one of the things that you just got to give Coach Reynolds credit for is when we weren't finding rhythm and he knew we needed something, he went to his bag of tricks, went to the diamond. As soon as we saw Ty Purcell in the formation,
we knew like Bowman. We know what's happening.
We knew exactly what was happening.
And it's a 20-second delay, so we could call that on the radio. So.
and it worked perfectly. Tanner Adams ran right by everybody, and Ty threw the perfect ball. And 7 points later, you had just that confidence back. The lead was, it just was one of those that.
But now we get to put that one aside.
Yeah, probably won't see that one for a few weeks. And so, senior night, you've got to call these guys a lot of their names and numbers for 4 years now. When you think about this senior class, what comes to mind?
This senior class is. I look at Charlie and Fuentes both because I've seen them play throughout those 4 years. I've also seen people say, oh, we've lost too many people. Oh, we've lost too much speed. Oh, we've lost too much size. This team, for me this year, I was like, what do we have? What do we don't have, right? But I've seen this team answer that call to say, we're just the next one up.
Yeah.
And, we've got some speed. Hey, we've got some size, right? I had a little doubt coming in. Do we have great receiving core? Because, man, we had some great receivers last year.
Yeah.
No doubt. We've got a great receiving core, right? We've answered that call. We're that front of our defensive line right now, our offensive line, oh, my gosh. I mean, we've got some hosses on that offensive line this year. And so I think you can look at that senior class and go, yeah, we're carrying on that tradition, and I think they're proud of that. I think they're proud that they're saying, yep, we're good. We hated that one loss, but you know what? That's preseason.
Yeah.
And we're going to show you. We're going to keep rolling. And so if you watch, they've slowly gone from not ranked to all of a sudden, now everybody's looking at Bushland again because they took that loss against Canadian. But now we all know Canadians
Canadians a real deal.
If you've not seen them play, it's pretty impressive to watch. I mean, Canyon couldn't even beat Randall as bad as Canadian beat Randall. So, but no, I think this team's got some great leadership. I think they've some strong, and I'll say it, humble leaders in a lot of ways. They'll say, there's no doubt if something's going awry on offense, Jacob will, okay, I'll run the ball right now until we find it out. There's a lot of selflessness on the team. They'll do whatever they need to do to make this happen. We see it in the running back spot. Lord, we'll see 6 running backs in a game at any point in time. And that's really cool, and nobody's getting upset. They're just waiting for their turn to come up. Oh, yeah, I'm in. Oh, no, I'll go play receiver this time. I mean, they just rotate everywhere all over the field. If I need to go in on offense because Ty gets hurt, on defense, I'm up.
Yeah.
And you saw that Friday night, next man up. And I think we do a really good job with that. This team has been very resilient. I've not heard a lot of the going on from a locker room perspective. You don't hear that as much. We all know it probably happens a little, but you're not hearing it. 2 years ago, we heard a lot. Right, and so the camaraderie inside that locker room seems to be pretty strong, and that's a credit to seniors, without a doubt.
No doubt, and and the unquestioned leadership. I mean, because you've got Charlie and Easton on that defensive side, and then you've got DJ in that huddle, and when you say humble, it's been so cool to get to sit here and. This is the first year we've done a local legend player of the game, and to get to interview them every week, and every single one of them wants to give everybody else the credit. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I get to brag on you too because they're so talented, but they're always the first to point at the other guy. And even to your point of they all want to do the little things to help everybody. The selflessness of receivers blocking 30 yards down the field to make sure that somebody else, it's just those guys. constantly serve one another. And
and that's what'll take you to the next level. It's the little things. I heard it once said, Jeremy Bridges played right tackle for the Arizona Cardinals, a good friend of ours that I met when we were out in Arizona. And he said, you know what the secret to success is on the football field? I was like, what's that? He goes, that much. I said, what do you mean? He goes, it's not the big things you do. It's the little things you do that'll make you successful on the field. It's doing the same rep over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. It's the little things that do. And I thought that's a great word. And it's the little things we do that make it successful.
Yeah. So as we get ready to wrap up this one, and the next coaches show will be a playoff coaches show, got any final thoughts as we head into Dalhart?
Falcons win senior night, too big. I think we carry that momentum in. I think we win big. I think it's maybe close after 1.5 quarters, but I think the Falcons just too much firepower across the board, too much excitement, too much driving this team right now to let them stop. So I think we roll on and take a week off and hit the playoffs.
Yeah, I had somebody ask me if this was a trap game coming out of shallow water, and I said not at all. It's the district championship. And let's be honest, shallow water was just a big step in the district championship. The reality is the first goal is still the district championship, and that's something that was cool to hear Easton say. Easton said, we just want to be the class that reinstates that, because they'd won 3 in a row before last year.
Yep.
And he said, we want to start a new run. Like as the underclassmen move into the new high school next year, he said, we want to send them into the new high school as district champions and to start that. And so really cool to just Easton, man, you have to go back and watch it. He is so fun and just a ball of energy. But then you watch him on a football field and you think, golly, that kid can. He and Charlie, man, I would not want them chasing me. I feel bad for opposing quarterbacks.
Absolutely.
Well, we will wrap this up here from Mitch's Barbecue, and the next time we talk to you will be week 1 of the playoffs. It's crazy to think we're already knocking on the door of the playoffs. So as we send this one off, we want to congratulate our Lady Falcon cross country runners who ran at regional today on an incredible season, and obviously look forward to our Lady Falcons who will start the playoffs next Monday night. Make sure to come out tomorrow night to the Nest if you're in town. Celebrate our seniors. They'll have their last home game in the Nest. 17 straight district championships. Tomorrow night will be the 88th straight district win. And Kara Adams gave a really impressive stat. Lainey Adams, who's the youngest player on this team, she's the freshman. She was 3 the last time the Lady Falcons lost a district volleyball game.
Wow, that's impressive.
That is crazy. So for Chris Welch, Stephen Lyles, we'll see you on. We'll have tomorrow night. We'll have the broadcast of senior night, and then we'll see you live from the Nest on Friday night for Falcons versus Dalhart. I had to think about that. How did I don't know. It's all so. Well, good night and.